Listen right now, as these words reach you. Something shifts in the atmosphere around your home. The air grows dense with revelation. This message arrives at the exact second your soul needed to hear it, because what I am about to tell you changes everything you thought you knew about the person living closest to your walls. This is not coincidence. You didn't stumble here by accident. The universe orchestrated this moment, this message, this awakening because heaven could no longer watch you walk in darkness. While someone next door weaves shadows around your light, feel it now, that strange sensation you have been carrying. The weight on your chest when you wake at 3 in the morning. The way your energy drains when you pass their door. You told yourself you were imagining things. You weren't. Your spirit knew what your mind refused to accept. Someone has been watching you through more than just windows. The person in the house next to yours carries a secret so profound that the spiritual realm itself demanded intervention. They smile at you, wave when you meet, exchange pleasantries about weather and mundane things. But behind those gestures lies a truth that will shake the very foundation of what you believed about human nature and spiritual warfare. You are not paranoid. You are awakening. You are not oversensitive. You are spiritually attuned. You are not making this up. You are finally seeing what was always there, hidden in plain sight, masked by normalcy, disguised as neighborly concern. Picture this. Every morning when you leave your home, someone watches, not with casual interest, but with an intensity that pierces through physical walls. They know when you sleep, when you wake, when joy visits your heart, when sorrow makes you vulnerable. They have studied you like a manuscript, memorized your patterns like a prayer, but not the kind that blesses. 3 months ago, something changed. Do you remember? That day when everything felt different, but you couldn't explain why. That was the day they crossed a spiritual boundary. That was the day they did something that heaven marked in the eternal records. That was the day your guardian angels sounded the alarm that would eventually lead you to this very moment, reading these very words. The truth cuts deeper than you imagine. This person doesn't just live next door. They were positioned there. Think about when they moved in. Think about the timing. Think about what was happening in your life when they suddenly appeared, beginning to see the pattern, beginning to understand that proximity was never accidental. My child, you need to understand something crucial. You carry a light that others can see even when you cannot. You possess gifts that radiate in frequencies beyond human sight. You walk in favor that makes the spiritually aware take notice. And not everyone who notices celebrates. Some observe with different intentions. Some watch with ancient jealousy. Some study your blessings with the dedication of those who believe they deserve what you have been given. Let me paint you a picture of what happens while you sleep. In the quiet hours when the world rests, someone sits awake, not in prayer for you, but in contemplation about you. They have spoken your name in conversations you will never hear. They have discussed your life with people you don't know exist. They have shared details about you that you thought were private. How do they know these things? Because they have been collecting pieces of your story like artifacts, assembling a mosaic of your existence for purposes that would disturb your peace if you knew. But here is what they didn't count on. Every time they focused their energy on dimming your light, heaven documented it. Every whisper against your purpose was recorded in the spiritual archives. Every attempt to delay your destiny was noted by the forces assigned to guard your path. And now, the season of silence has ended. The period of divine tolerance has closed. The time of revelation has begun. You felt it last week, didn't you? That sudden shift in their behavior, the way they looked at you differently, the forced smile that didn't reach their eyes, the conversation that felt like probing rather than connecting. Your intuition screamed, but you silenced it with politeness. Stop doing that. Your intuition is your spiritual radar, and it has been detecting interference from next door for longer than you realize. Here is what heaven wants you to know. The person in the next house once walked in light like you do now. They once knew favor, tasted blessing, experienced the flow of divine grace. But something happened. Comparison crept in like poison. They began measuring their portion against yours. They started counting your blessings instead of nurturing their own. And slowly, devastatingly, they transformed from neighbor to watcher, from watcher to envier, from envier to something darker. The signs were always there. the way birds avoid their property, the way plants struggle to grow on their side of the fence, the heaviness that hangs over their threshold like an invisible curtain, the way genuine laughter never seems to emerge from their windows. These aren't coincidences. These are spiritual indicators, markers of what happens when someone chooses to feed on another's light rather than cultivate their own. But you, precious soul, you kept giving them the benefit of the doubt. You invited them in, shared your victories, celebrated in their presence. You had no idea that each piece of good news you shared was being cataloged, examined, and used as fuel for something you never authorized. Your kindness became their opportunity. Your openness became their access point. Your trust became the very door through which they entered spaces they should never have approached. Listen carefully now, because what I am about to reveal will explain everything. 2 weeks ago, while you slept peacefully, they did something specific, something deliberate, something that crossed from thought into action. They spoke words into the night air directed at your home. Not prayers of blessing, but declarations of delay. Not wishes for your well-being, but whispers meant to tangle your progress. They literally stood at their window, looked at your house, and released intentions that had been building for months. The moon witnessed it. The stars recorded it. Even the night air grew heavy with the weight of their words. They thought darkness would hide their actions, but darkness has eyes too, divine eyes that miss nothing. What they whispered traveled on frequencies meant to penetrate your peace, to infiltrate your dreams, to plant seeds of confusion in your tomorrow. They used your name specifically, spoke to your situation directly, targeted your upcoming breakthrough with precision. You woke up that morning feeling different, didn't you? Like someone had rearranged the furniture in your soul while you slept. Like your internal compass was suddenly spinning. That wasn't your imagination. That was the impact of someone actively working against your spiritual atmosphere. That was the residue of intentional interference. But here is where the story turns. Here is where heaven steps in with fierce protection. The moment those words left their lips, a divine response was activated. Angels were dispatched. Barriers were erected. What they meant to bind was immediately marked for loosening. What they intended to block was scheduled for supernatural opening. They thought they were operating in secret, but nothing is hidden from the eyes that never sleep. Right now, as you read this, things are shifting in the spiritual realm around your home. Can you feel it? The temperature change, the sudden clarity, the lifting of weight you didn't realize you were carrying. This isn't just information entering your mind. This is activation happening in your spirit. This is your awakening to a reality that was always there, waiting for you to see it, acknowledge it, and take your authority back. The neighbor doesn't know you are receiving this message, but they will feel the shift within the next 7 days. They will approach you differently. They will either suddenly become overly friendly, trying to regain access, or they will begin to avoid you, unable to bear the light that is being reinforced around you. Watch for it, document it, but don't engage it. Your power lies not in confrontation, but in revelation and protection. You see, what they never understood is that you weren't blessed by accident. You weren't favored by random selection. You were chosen, marked, and sealed before you ever drew breath. What flows to you wasn't meant for them. What opens for you responds to your specific spiritual fingerprint. They could watch forever and never duplicate what heaven freely gives you, because it is not about technique or formula. It is about divine appointment, and that cannot be stolen, only envied. Now let me tell you something that will change how you see everything. The very fact that you are reading this means the shift has already begun. The protection is already activating. The exposure is already in motion. You didn't find this message. This message found you. It was written in the spiritual realm before it ever appeared in the physical, waiting for the exact moment when your spirit would be ready to receive it, process it, and act on it. Over the next 10 days, you are going to notice things. Small things at first, their car leaving at unusual times, unexpected visitors at their house, changes in their routine that seem sudden and unexplained. These aren't random. These are the physical manifestations of spiritual disruption. What they built in secret is being dismantled in the open. What they planned in darkness is being exposed to light. Not through your actions, but through divine intervention. But here is what you must do, and this is crucial. You must reclaim your space spiritually. Walk through your home speaking life over every room. Stand at your windows and declare divine protection over every entrance. Go to your door and speak cancellation over every word spoken against your threshold. This isn't superstition, this is spiritual warfare. This is you taking back authority over your atmosphere. Your dreams are about to become vivid again. That fog that has been clouding your vision will lift. The confusion about your next steps will suddenly clear. The delays that made no logical sense will reveal themselves as spiritual interference that is now being removed. You are about to remember who you are, whose you are, and why you were placed exactly where you are. Pay attention to the animals around you. Have you noticed how dogs bark differently when passing their house? How cats avoid their yard entirely? Animals sense spiritual atmospheres that human eyes often miss. They feel the dissonance, the negative charge, the unnatural energy emanating from that space. Even nature itself has been trying to warn you. The universe sends signals through creation when human intuition is being suppressed. The neighbor thought your proximity was for their benefit. They assumed your light was meant to illuminate their darkness. They believed your blessings were somehow accidentally misdirected, meant for them but mistakenly delivered to you. This misconception became their obsession. Your success became their torment. Your peace became their disruption. Your joy became their accusation. And instead of seeking their own source, they fixated on yours. But tonight, as darkness falls, something different will happen. The spiritual atmosphere around your home will shift permanently. The access they once had will be sealed. The influence they tried to exert will reverse back to them. The seeds of interference they planted will refuse to grow. Instead, everything meant to flourish in your life will suddenly accelerate. Doors that seemed stuck will swing open. Opportunities that felt distant will suddenly appear. Clarity that evaded you will arrive like morning light. You might wonder why this had to happen. Why someone so close would harbor such intentions. The answer is both simple and complex. Proximity to greatness reveals character. Closeness to blessing exposes the heart. When someone lives next to favor but doesn't understand its source, they either celebrate it or covet it. They either learn from it or lean against it. Your neighbor chose the wrong response to your light. They chose shadow over illumination. They chose envy over celebration. They chose interference over inspiration. But you don't need to carry anger. You don't need to harbor resentment. You don't even need to confront them. Your job is simply to understand, protect, and continue rising. Let heaven handle the justice. Let divine timing manage the exposure. Let spiritual law determine the consequences. Your only assignment is to walk in your authority, maintain your peace, and keep your heart pure. Despite this revelation, something powerful is about to happen in your life. Something that would have happened sooner if not for the interference from next door. But here is the beauty of divine timing. What was delayed will arrive with interest. What was held back will overflow when released. What was meant to discourage you will become the very testimony that encourages others. The neighbor's interference didn't destroy your blessing. It simply compressed it, and compressed blessings explode with greater force when finally released. Remember the ancient truth. Every action in the spiritual realm creates an equal and opposite reaction. Their interference has been building divine pressure in your favor, like a river temporarily dammed. Your blessings have been accumulating, growing stronger, waiting for the moment of release. And that moment is now. The dam is breaking, the floodgates are opening. What they tried to hold back is about to overwhelm you with its abundance. Your patience during this season of hidden warfare has been noted in heaven's books. Your refusal to retaliate even when you sense something wrong has been recorded as righteousness. Your continued kindness despite feeling drained has been marked as strength. In the coming days, you will receive confirmation of everything I am telling you. It might come through a random conversation where someone mentions seeing something strange. It might come through your own observation of unusual activity. It might come through a dream that suddenly makes everything clear. But it will come. Heaven always provides confirmation when revelation is genuine. Your home is about to become a sanctuary again. That feeling of being watched will dissipate. That heaviness when you return home will lift. That drain on your energy will stop. You will sleep deeper, dream clearer, wake refreshed. Your creativity will return with force. Your motivation will surge, your clarity will sharpen. All because the interference is being removed, the channel is being cleared, the static is being eliminated. But remember this, the neighbor will notice the shift too. They will feel the disconnection from your energy. They will experience the withdrawal from accessing your spiritual space. They might act out, become erratic, try different tactics to regain entry. Don't be moved, don't be manipulated, don't be drawn into their drama. Your protection is active now. What they try will only expose them further. You were never meant to carry their projections. You were never designed to be diminished by their envy. You were never supposed to shrink to make them comfortable with their own choices. Your light was meant to shine fully, brilliantly, unapologetically. And now, with this revelation, with this understanding, with this divine intervention, you can finally step into the fullness of what was always yours. The next house will remain where it is, but its influence over your life ends today. The physical proximity continues, but the spiritual access is revoked. The neighbor remains, but the power they wielded through your ignorance is broken. You are free, you are protected. You are ascending beyond their reach, rising to heights their interference can no longer touch. This message serves as your spiritual awakening, your divine notification, your heavenly alert. You have been chosen to receive it because you are ready to handle the truth, ready to reclaim your power, ready to walk in the fullness of your purpose without unauthorized interference. The season of shadows ends now. The time of clarity begins today. The era of unhindered blessing starts with this revelation. As you move forward, carry this knowing. You are watched over by forces greater than any human intention. You are protected by power that transcends physical proximity. You are favored in ways that no neighbor's envy can diminish. What is yours is divinely yours, sealed, protected, and guaranteed by heaven itself. The story that started with shadows ends with light. The chapter that began with interference concludes with freedom. The season that opened with confusion closes with clarity. You are emerging from this stronger, wiser, more protected than ever before. The neighbor's role in your story is diminishing, while your own narrative is expanding beyond anything they could have imagined or influenced. Stand firm in this revelation. Walk boldly in this truth. Rest securely in this protection. Your time of uncertainty has ended. Your season of clarity has begun. Your moment of complete spiritual freedom is now. The person next door has no more power over your destiny. The shadow they cast cannot touch the light you carry. The interference they generated cannot stop what heaven has ordained. This is your moment of liberation. This is your notification of freedom. This is your invitation to rise without restraint, shine without apology, succeed without interference. The watchers from next door have been watched in return. The observers have been observed. The interferers have been interfered with. Divine justice doesn't always announce itself, but it never fails to arrive. Welcome to your new chapter. Welcome to your protected space. Welcome to your unhindered destiny. Welcome to the life that was always meant to be yours. Finally free from the shadows cast by those who chose darkness over celebrating your light. The neighbor's chapter in your story is closing. Your own story is just beginning to reveal its true magnificence. If you needed this message, if this revelation has awakened something within you, if you feel the shift already beginning, say these words with complete conviction. I reclaim my space. I revoke all access. I rise in divine protection. I am free. Now, place your hand over your heart and speak this prayer of reclamation with me. Let these words vibrate through your being, establishing a new spiritual atmosphere around your life. Divine Creator, source of all protection and light, I stand before you aware and awakened. I thank you for revealing what was hidden, for exposing what was concealed, for bringing to light what operated in shadow. I declare that my home is sacred ground, protected by forces no human interference can penetrate. I speak cancellation over every word spoken against my threshold. I revoke every access granted through my ignorance. I close every door opened through deception. I seal every entrance that manipulation created. From this moment forward, my space is sanctuary. My home resonates only with frequencies of love, abundance, and divine purpose. No weapon formed in darkness can prosper in my light. No whisper from shadows can reach my atmosphere. No envy from any distance can touch what you have blessed. I am covered. I am sealed. I am protected by the highest power in existence. I release forgiveness to those who worked against me, not for their sake, but for my freedom. I cut every spiritual cord that connected their intentions to my destiny. I am free, fully and completely free. My blessings will now flow unhindered. My path will now clear without interference. My light will now shine without apology. Thank you for this revelation. Thank you for this protection. Thank you for this new beginning. It is done, it is sealed, it is permanent, and so it is. Amen.